Hi and welcome back to my channel for a new art journaling video. Today I am working with the Distress Oxide inks to create the background. I'm using a piece of a baking mat and just squish the ink pads onto the mat, and then I will spritz them with water and place them into the journal. I will list all the colors I've used in the description box. Before I'm going to add another layer, I first dry the ink with my heat tool. One of the properties of the Distress Oxides is that you can layer them because they are not fully transparent, and this gives a nice effect. The journal that I'm working in is the Marabou art journal. It's definitely not my favorite, but I got a few of them on sale about 2 years ago, and I try to use them as often as I can, but the paper quality is not very good. You can't play with watercolors in here. You can use it with the Distress inks and the Oxides. That works really fine, and of course you can use the pages with gesso. I'm using a little finger blender here and ink up the edges with greens. And I will also spritz the background with water to create even more texture. The Distress Oxides can be reactivated with water, and then they change their color a little bit, and that makes them look very interesting. Here I picked a stencil from STAMPlorations, and I add the pattern with one of these blending brushes. I really love to use them. I bought them on Amazon for about, I believe, $12 or something like that, and they are perfect to blend ink with stencils. You will find them in my Amazon storefront. There is a link in the description box. To not waste the ink that is on my stencil, I just spritz it with water and push it onto my background. For even more texture and interest, I used the Rubber Dance Vintage Flourish background stamp and stamp it also with Distress Oxides. That's what I like about the Distress Oxide ink pads. You can use them to create gorgeous backgrounds, and also you can use them for stamping. Here I am using the Rubber Dance music sheet. It's a gorgeous music notes background. While the background is fully drying, I am inking up my main images. I've used the poinsettias from the Textured Christmas Green stamp set, and I color them in with the Arteza real brush pens. And as we are talking about these brush pens, I recently had a review video of them with a big giveaway, and I already announced the winner in my community tab, but I didn't hear back from the winner. So if you joined this giveaway, please have a look at the community tab where I have announced the winner, and then write an email to me with your contact details. The flowers are stamped to the Canson XL watercolor paper. This is my favorite watercolor paper when it comes to stamping and stamp coloring. And I used the Versafine Clair Nocturne Black ink to stamp them. This ink is so amazing. I think I have it about half a year now, and it's perfect. It stamps really deep black lines and also onto watercolor paper, which is sometimes not so easy. The Versafine Clear ink pad is oil-based, which works perfectly with any kind of watercolor medium to color the stamps in, because it has a resist against the water, and so the color will peel off your stamped image and your lines will stay clearly visible. I will speed up the coloring process a little more so the video doesn't get too long. I really enjoy working with these Arteza real brush pens for stamp coloring. They are really perfect, I think, and it's a really quick solution to color in stamped images. The technique that I'm using is that I first wet my image and then I go in with the real brush pens. This gives me the opportunity to create really light areas and not to have too much ink on the paper. But of course you can also use them in the other way. Just start with the real brush pens and then blend them with water. The brush pens will soak up the water a little bit, but that doesn't mind. You can just scribble them onto paper and you will get the ink back immediately. I decided to stop the recording here because it takes a while to color in all these images. I will also use the green brush pen to add some green leaves to the flowers as well. I decided that I want to have some shimmer also on my page, and I picked the Colourcraft Aztec metallic paint in gold and just thin it down a little bit more with water and add some sprinkles to my page. In the meantime, I have used the left side of my journal to create a quick art journal spread, and I also sprinkled some of the gold color onto this one. I used a piece of pattern paper to create a vase for the flowers, and I just add some shading with the Distress Oxides. Now it's time to arrange all the flowers and the vase on the page, and when I'm happy with this result, I start gluing them down. I just use a simple glue stick and wet glue for the flowers. I'm using a black watercolor pencil. This one is the Magnus watercolor pencil from Faber-Castell. This is my absolute favorite one. And I just add a shadow to the bottom of the page, and I also add some shadow to the vase itself. To finish up the complete page, I've cut the letters for joy from some glitter cardstock. It's a Sizzix die from Tim Holtz, and I just adhere this to my vase. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope we see us next time. Bye!